Let's get to the Texas Rangers.
I love the Rangers.
Okay, good. We will start with another way for the Texas Rangers to improve. Wyatt Langford continues his progression. So his OPS jumped by about 5% from year 1 to year 2. Does that again in year 3. You've got an OPS player of 812. And I know the Rangers think he can go significantly higher than that, and they're hoping Bellinger, Trey Turner, Tatis, somebody like that. But the level of improvement you get from Wyatt Langford, who, as we mentioned earlier in the show, has listed as the second best center fielder in all of Major League Baseball. I feel like this is one of the biggest ones on the list.
This is going to be essential for this team.
Yes.
Like, this is essential. Do I think it's possible? Absolutely. I think his growth has shown that, like, he's getting better at a lot of different things. For a dude that really needed to focus on his defensive game early, he cleaned that up pretty quickly. And I think you're seeing now the respect that people have for him at the plate. I think pitchers are up there going, "This is a tough out." Not that it's like, this is I don't want to pitch to this guy because I know if I make that mistake, he's going to put it 400 feet. Like, that's the fear, is that he has that kind of power. And Kevin, if he figures out that kind of power and bat speed this season and in season 3, that is, no, every time I come up to the plate, it is dangerous. That home run per is very dangerous. That's whenever we're going to be like, Kevin, we did it. We officially got the right one. So, yes, him growing to that next level, pairing with Corey Seager, being another player that can be dangerous.
And I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, though you would love to see it. I see Wyatt Langford as more of a 900 OPS guy.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you can get above 800.
What about 1,000?
Great. Possible. As long as you stop there. And we don't have time for that. But, yes, 1.1 maybe.
We don't have time for my silly games.
I had played along with part of it. All right. Brandon Nimmo. Now, Evan Grant points out he's probably not an 800 OPS guy anymore.
Oh, what about a 900?
That feels like a no.
What about 1,000?
But we should message him on social media and ask about that. All right. But last year, 764 OPS. Okay. Do you know what Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia's OPS was last year?
I feel like it was in the 500 range.
That is a fair feeling. But it was actually, believe it or not, higher than that. Marcus Semien, 669. Adolis Garcia, 665. But think about this. That means Brandon Nimmo, what if he has an OPS that's 100 points higher than both of those guys?
Then we're going to be doing just fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think we are definitely going to be doing just fine. And I think that's another big part of it right there. For a team, we've talked about our complaints with this lineup. If you get Brandon Nimmo to once again be 100 points higher OPS than two of the players that he's replacing, if you can even see Wyatt Langford's OPS go up by 100 points, that I feel like will change people's perceptions of this lineup pretty damn quick.
Jared asked the other day on Twitter, what's the most misunderstood stat out there?
WAR.
And WAR definitely is. OPS feels like we say it a lot. Why is it so much more meaningful than ERA or slugging? Why is it so? What does it do?
You know what? I'm really glad that you said that, because let's take a player that we had talked about earlier in the show in Luis Arraez and put him up with Wyatt Langford. So, on the surface, Luis Arraez, 292 batting average last year. Wyatt Langford, 241 last year. Feels like Luis Arraez had far, far better season, right?
Right.
His batting average 50 points higher. But OPS, so your on base plus your slugging. And that is where it becomes more important because that's what teams have valued more and more, is not just your batting average, but your on base percentage. And let's take a look at the on base percentage of Wyatt Langford versus Luis Arraez. I told you it was 50 points lower batting average. However, on base percentage, Wyatt Langford's 17 points higher than a Luis Arraez. And so that means whether it's hit by pitch or probably mostly walk, he gets on base far more often than Luis, or somewhat more often than Luis Arraez, and that's what teams value. And then you factor in the slugging. Yeah. That's the name of the game. And the slugging for Wyatt Langford compared to Luis Arraez, that's another thing that's 39 points higher. So while Luis Arraez probably has more productive at-bats and outs, that's a thing I don't think that OPS correctly factors in, is productive outs. And I think that's a hole in some of these stats. But Wyatt Langford gets on base more, and he has more pop, and thus that is far more value.
I wonder if just kind of like the quarterback interception, if it's a little subjective, and that kind of creates that hole, or can we really truly judge that? So average with OPS is about 700 to 800, 800 to 900.
If you get to 800,
it's good.
You're like, hey, good job.
If you get 900 plus, you're like in the elite level.
You're probably a stud. But even that started to change because it used to be if you got above 800, you were like, oh man, good job. But now if you get 800 or above, I think people are like, holy crap, this player is awesome. And this is where it does get kind of confusing because even with all those numbers, Luis Arraez's WAR last year was 1.3 and Langford's was 5.6, which if you just looked at it from an old school, take a look at this. Last year, Wyatt Langford, batting average of 241. He hit 22 home runs and 62 RBIs. You're like, yeah, all right, that's, I guess, okay. But at a WAR of 5.6, which I know factors in the defense as well, you're like, holy smokes, that's freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. And if he jumps up above a 7 this year, oh my goodness, you got a bona fide superstar.
Like, let me throw in real quick. Shohei Ohtani was a 1.014 last year.
That's bananas. And if you get above a 1, it's bananas.
Aaron Judge was fine. He was a 1.144.
That's the year all time.
Yeah, but the year before he was 1.159. So like he was fine last year considering. So that's where can you do one more thing for me in this conversation? Is it equally weighted with slugging and on base? Or does one carry a little? Can one carry a little more weight in it? Because it's plus.
Yeah, I know.
Like if I have a high slugging, I will have a high OPS despite my low on base percentage.
No, so yes, you could, but believe it or not, they actually. I know this is going to sound really dumb. They actually just add the numbers together.
Yeah.
So, like,
it's weird.
The formula is as simple as that.
Okay.
I don't want to pretend it's like, what if you take 60% off the median? No, they just add the numbers together.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's what gets your OPS. Now, I'm trying not to beat people down with stats so much.
Well, I think it's important, like, with that conversation to understand why we use these stats in our conversations with our Tolos. I mean, there's a lot of them out there that know it better than we do.
And that's probably true. And Jared knows more about the advanced numbers than I think anybody else. But somebody brought up WRC plus. And again, I'm going to try not to beat you down too much with this.
It's a cola.
But that's RC Cola. So WRC plus is weighted runs created. And so that factors in a whole lot of stuff, including total offensive contribution. But the thing I like about that number, it's adjusted for a variety of things, including ballpark factor. And so whenever you take a look at that, see what their score is, because the league's average player is set at 100.
That's that right there. What you just brought up, WRC plus. Okay, I'm sorry, you're finishing up what the number is, but I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
It feels like, how we talk in basketball and hockey, the pass that led to the assist. Like it feels like that. Hey, I did something that led to the run. That's why we add this into it, because ultimately, how many runs does our team score, and how was I a part of that?
See, and that's a fair way to look at it. And so that number is slotted at 100 for your average MLB player. And so let's go back to the same two guys.
Yeah.
Luis Arraez. His WRC plus last year was 104. That means he's theoretically 4% better than the average Major League Baseball player.
Okay.
Whereas Wyatt Langford's was 118.
Which means he's
18% better than the average MLB player. And this year, Fangraphs has it at 125, which would mean he would bump up then to 25% better than the average Major League Baseball player.
Except.
And so, okay, so think about it. So that's why we talked about a rise if you put him at second base. I realize he signed elsewhere now. But if you would have, if I told you right now, you could have had a second baseman that was 4% better than an average MLB player, don't you think you would have been like, great, let's do that?
Yeah, I do wonder, because that doesn't include defense, right?
I do not think so. That is an offense. Ooh, bad baseball brain. I think that is primarily offense.
Does WAR include defense?
So, and that's a thing where you can find here, and I'm not, okay, hopefully this won't make people's brains explode. Different sites have proprietary WAR, which means the baseball reference WAR you'll find is different than the ESPN WAR and everything like that because of a couple of different factors. So I hope you guys have found this interesting. We haven't just beat you
I thought it was
down.
fun. I really do think
but
it's
I'm
fun.
pretty sure WRC Plus is just for offense.
Because whenever we get rolling on baseball season this year, a lot of these words are going to be hitting the airwaves. And there are some new listeners, always new baseball fans.
Right.
Some people recently found out about the Rangers. And
just like with the Seahawks.
Yeah, and they're getting into what's going on here. So I think it's an exciting time because, Kevin, here in a couple of weeks, we're going to be in surprise.
Yes.
And baseball season will be rolling.
Now, a couple more things. I'm going to tell you about Ezekiel Duran, but also, Alec, I want to know if this makes us liars, because I said today was going to be the finale, but I do still have multiple things to look at from the Rangers that could make them better. Does that make us liars and we just need to cut it off, or do you think our audience will be like, that's okay?
I think you need to continue, but I do need to preface it with...
You're lying!
Damn it! I thought this was going to be the end. All right, one more quick note for you while we're talking about all of this and power and everything like that. Ezekiel Duran. Now, whether or not you think it's going to be Josh Smith, Cody Bradford, Ezekiel Duranapalooza at second base, Ezekiel Duran has not hit a home run in the major league since September 8th of 2024. So for a player that has displayed some pop, you got to get something from him power-wise if you're going to have him out there.
Yeah, that's got to come back. Like, that was the whole reason to keep him around. The whole idea whenever he initially arrived was, holy crap, what did we just get out of this? And then it just disappeared. Like, completely.
Yes.
And it was because of chasing. He got too involved. Again, this goes back to what I discussed last week. If you let the pitcher know that you're going to go after something, he's going to throw it out there all day.
Sure.
If you force the pitcher, if they go into their scouting report and they're like, dude, you have to throw it on the plate, otherwise this dude is not swinging, then they're going to have to try and figure out ways to get it around the plate to get you in position to pop. He needs to find a way to get back to that.